I'm usually a pretty ballsy kind of guy, but this particular case, I'm riding a little nervous.
For 11 seasons, from 2011 to 2022, the Kilchers captured the hearts and homes of viewers through their popular show, Alaska, The Last Frontier. Fans got a rare glimpse into their lives as they hunted, built, and survived while living a simple, rugged lifestyle that few people today could imagine. They lived a life of survival for the world to see. But when the show went on hiatus after its 11th season, the Kilcher homestead was missed deeply, and fans began to wonder what the cast was up to now. Before diving into where Aats Kilcher is today, it's important to understand how the family's legacy was built. The Kilcher story didn't start with television. It began with escape. In the late 1930s and early 1940s, as Europe was caught in the crossfires of World War II, two idealists from Switzerland, Yule Kilcher and Ruth Weber, sought freedom far from the Nazi threat. Yule, a scholar fluent in 12 languages, and Ruth, an aspiring opera singer and poet, found peace in the remote wilderness of Alaska. By 1940, they had settled on a 160 acres of raw land near Kachemak Bay, with no roads and no modern conveniences. They farmed, hunted, and fished for salmon to feed their growing family of what would eventually be 8 children. Ruth washed clothes, by hand, sewed on a treadle machine, and homeschooled the children, often reading them stories by the light of a kerosene lamp. Through the Homestead Act, their land eventually grew to over 600 acres, a testament to their vision and hard work. Yule was more than a homesteader. He became a nation builder. In 1955, he was elected as one of the 55 delegates tasked with writing the Constitution for the future state of Alaska, later serving in the state Senate. Ruth built her own legacy as a respected writer and columnist for the Anchorage Daily News. Long before reality TV, the Kilchers were media pioneers themselves. In the 1950s, Yule and Ruth created their own documentary, A Pioneer Family in Alaska, which they toured throughout Europe to share their homesteading life with the world. Decades later, their children and grandchildren would continue this tradition by starring in Alaska, The Last Frontier. Their legacy runs as deep as their roots in the Alaskan soil, and it's remarkable to see how generations of Kilchers have carried their story into the modern age, both in front of and behind the cameras. One of the biggest stars of the show was Aats Kilcher, the eldest son and the natural family patriarch on television. To viewers, he embodied tradition, the family man and protector of their way of life. He spent summers at the head of the bay, living in harmony with the land, watching over the cattle, and preparing for winter. Music had always been central to his life, and he became a celebrated folk singer and cowboy poet in Alaska, with songs that told raw stories of his life experiences. Aats was also a devoted father, raising children who carried on his legacy in their own ways. Aatsley Kilcher, who starred alongside him on the show, and Jewel Kilcher, who became an internationally acclaimed singer. When Jewel was young, she toured the state with her father, performing as a yodeling father-daughter duo in bars. But behind the music and the homestead lifestyle, Aats's story was far more complicated and painful. In his 2018 memoir, he revealed the deep trauma he had endured at the hands of his father, Yule. It is clear that Yule was a brilliant man, but he was also complex and prone to angry moods, which cast a long shadow over Aats's childhood. Beyond those early years, Aats also carried the pain of his service in the Vietnam War, a profound experience that left him with severe PTSD. By the time he returned home, he was a changed man, and the trauma he carried was inevitably passed down. His daughter, Jewel, with his permission, later wrote about the abuse she endured growing up in a toxic household, which led her to leave home at just 15 years old. For Aats, one of the most difficult parts of homesteading wasn't building cabins or hunting for food, it was rebuilding himself. Throughout his adult years, he focused on healing, peeling away layers of shame, anxiety, and anger he had accumulated over time. On the show, he became the wise patriarch, offering guidance and perspective to the younger Kilchers. His exceptional skills in wilderness survival, hunting, and farming were evident as he passed on the homestead way of life to his children and grandchildren. Today, life for Aats outside of television isn't much different. He continues to live simply, still writing and releasing music, such as his acoustic singles collection in 2020, which reflected on his journey. He has also discovered a deeper purpose in helping fellow veterans, working with organizations like Project Healing Waters, where he uses his music and storytelling to connect with others who carry the same scars of war. In many ways, he has transformed his pain into a source of healing and connection, proving that the greatest frontier is often the one within. Meanwhile, Otto Kilcher, Atz's younger brother, became the driving force behind the family. The sixth. Child of Yule and Ruth, Otto grew up as the fixer of all things broken on the homestead. On the reality show, viewers came to know him as the master mechanic who could take any piece of junk and turn it into a vital survival tool. He lived by a simple philosophy: nothing is wasted, and anything can be fixed with enough creativity and grit. This mantra guided both his work and his personal life. But in 2022, Otto faced something no tool could repair. During a severe snowstorm, while tending to his herd, he was trampled by a cow in a terrifying accident caught on camera. The injuries were devastating: broken ribs, punctured lungs, and more, and fans feared the worst as he was rushed to the hospital. For a man who prided himself on physical strength and self-reliance, being left in such a fragile state was almost incomprehensible. His recovery was long and grueling, requiring him to battle both physical pain and the psychological trauma of being harmed by the very animals he had cared for all his life. Yet, true to his resilient nature, Otto found a way to adapt, heal, and reinvent himself, reminding fans that the man they admired on screen was the same one he remained when the cameras stopped rolling. Since the show came to an end, Otto has embraced a new kind of machinery, the digital kind. He has become a popular content creator with his own YouTube channel, which now has over 80,000 subscribers. Today, his workshop is the world, as he shares his daily projects with fans while continuing to enjoy the pace of homestead life alongside his wife, Charlotte, and their son, Ivan. Through it all, Otto never let fame change him. Instead, he reinvested his energy into the homestead, building not only machines, but also a lasting connection with the community that has followed his journey for years. Despite internet rumors about his passing, Otto remains alive and well, still embodying the image of self-sufficiency, family bonds, and the strength of Alaskan tradition. At 73 years old, he continues to work as a skilled mechanic and animal breeder, undeterred by past injuries. Recent footage even showed him rolling bales of hay on the homestead, proving his resilience. Though he may never return to television, his influence reaches far through his creativity, turning broken items into treasures, tending cattle, and maintaining the land. On social media, he regularly shares glimpses of his work and appears in videos on the Kilcher Homestead YouTube channel, with recent posts from early and mid-2025 showing him active and thriving. Carrying on that legacy is Otto's son, Ivan Kilcher, a third-generation homesteader who inherited both his father's mechanical ingenuity and his grandfather's deep connection to the land. Ivan is a devoted husband, father, outdoorsman, and former firefighter who knows how to weld, make knives, fish, and hunt, all while building his own homestead to provide for his family. He is married to his high school sweetheart, Eve Kilcher, who became known for her nurturing spirit. On the show, Eve not only raised their children, Findlay and Sparrow Rose, but also grew vegetables and authored a successful cookbook containing 85 original recipes, along with tips on foraging, preserving, and gardening. Both Ivan and Eve share a vision of inspiring others to live more sustainably, reduce their carbon footprint, and move away from mass-produced foods. Since the show ended, they have kept fans updated on social media, sharing family moments and projects on Instagram. In November 2022, Eve began selling personalized copies of her cookbook, while continuing to develop her role as an author. Together, Ivan and Eve also maintain a website where they share their passions and their life away from reality TV. Once the picture-perfect homesteading couple on screen, they have since transformed their lifestyle into a modern multi-platform educational business, successfully blending tradition with innovation. Their website has also become a hub for aspiring homesteaders, with Eve's cookbook offering 85 original family recipes and their new online membership, the Kilchers Community, providing live workshops and exclusive tutorials on everything from food preservation to building projects. Together, Ivan and Eve have embraced life as full-time content creators, offering their audience not just polished moments, but also a realistic glimpse into the wins, setbacks, and quiet family traditions that shape their days. Their videos document the day-to-day realities of homesteading, often showing how they teach their children the values and skills passed down through generations. In doing so, they have managed to keep the Kilcher legacy alive, blending the preservation of family tradition with the creation of a sustainable future, both on the land and online, teaching a global audience how homesteaders can thrive anywhere. The story of Atsley Kilcher, however, was one of struggle, trauma, and transformation. On Alaska, the last frontier, he was often portrayed as the black sheep of the family, a man who once left the homestead to pursue a life of music, only to discover that the wilderness was where he truly belonged. His story took a turning point when he met Jane, a former commercial fisherwoman from Homer, who was no stranger to the harshness of Alaskan life. Jane eventually left the sea behind and brought her skills to the homestead, quickly becoming an indispensable part of the family. Together, Atsley and Jane formed a rugged yet beloved frontier couple, admired by viewers for their strength and balance. But in 2015, their lives changed dramatically when Atsley suffered a near-fatal fall while hiking in Otter Cove. Medevaced to the hospital, he was left with a series of life-threatening injuries, including broken bones, crushed ribs, and punctured lungs. Episodes such as Hard Road Home and Recovery Road documented his long and painful recovery, both physically and emotionally. The accident not only reshaped Atsley's abilities, but also strained his marriage with Jane. Once a man defined by resilience and survival skills, he was forced to confront chronic pain and physical limitations, creating a rift that grew over time. Despite years of rumors, it was eventually confirmed that Atsley and Jane had divorced, ending a love story many fans had cherished. Together, they share 2 children, Piper and Etienne, from previous relationships, and for years they worked to protect them from the public spotlight. Today, Atsley has found a new way to share his life and passions. No longer trailed by television cameras, he now documents his adventures on YouTube, offering fans a raw and unfiltered look at the Kilcher lifestyle. As he puts it, the channel is essentially the same as the show, just without the crazy producers making it extreme. For longtime followers of The Last Frontier, his channel has become the new window into his world, filled with the pure and uncut adventures of a Kilcher who continues to persevere through life's trials. Jane Kilcher, originally from Homer, Alaska, grew up not far from the Kilcher homestead, and her journey to meeting Atsley Kilcher was one many admired. On Alaska, The Last Frontier, their relationship was portrayed as the picture-perfect homestead partnership, and fans embraced them as one of the show's most beloved couples. But in August 2023, fans were shocked by a surprising revelation. In a heartfelt Facebook post, Jane announced that her husband, Atsley, had filed for divorce, explaining that the situation was beyond her control. This marked the end of a chapter, not only in her marriage, but also in the shared homestead life many had watched unfold on television. Jane, however, did not retreat from the spotlight. A registered nurse, she had already shown her dedication to service during the pandemic by traveling to remote villages to provide care when COVID first broke out. Following her divorce and the end of the show, she reinvented herself and, to the surprise of many, traded one Alaskan frontier for another, an even more dangerous one, the Bering Sea. In 2021, Jane joined the cast of Bering Sea Gold after being recruited by her friend, Captain Emily Riedel, who needed someone to help manage her dredge while pregnant. Jane seized the opportunity, diving headfirst into one of the most high-risk professions in Alaska. Drawing on her background as a fisherwoman and her years of homesteading experience, she adapted quickly, though she still had to master new skills and earn the respect of a seasoned crew in one of the harshest workplaces on Earth. Her journey since has been nothing short of inspiring. Jane Kilcher has proven that her identity as a survivor and adventurer extends far beyond the Kilcher name or homestead. Whether as a mother, nurse, fisherwoman, or gold dredger, she continues to embrace challenges head-on, showing that resilience and reinvention are her greatest strengths. For fans, her story is a testament to carving out one's own path, even when life takes unexpected turns. Charlotte Kilcher's story, meanwhile, began when she joined the family through her marriage to Otto Kilcher. Originally from Northern California, she moved to Alaska in 1978 to work as a wildlife biologist, later meeting Otto during the cleanup of the Exxon Valdez oil spill. On the show, Charlotte was more than just Otto's partner. She was an essential member of the homestead, with a wide range of responsibilities that demanded self-sufficiency. From tending gardens, raising chickens and ducks for eggs, and maintaining beehives, to milking cows and helping feed the family, she embraced every challenge with a hands-on spirit. Viewers also watched her develop new projects, such as cultivating peony fields in Kilcher Canyon, a venture that eventually grew to around 450 plants. She even honored those lost to COVID-19 in one memorable episode, releasing peonies into Kachemak Bay as a moving tribute. Today, Charlotte continues to live a fulfilling life deeply rooted in the land. She remains actively engaged in agricultural work, especially the peony fields she now manages largely on her own. Beyond the homestead, Charlotte has built a strong connection with fans through her social media presence, where she shares glimpses of her daily life and ongoing projects. Her following reflects the respect she has earned not only as Otto's wife, but also as an accomplished Alaskan homesteader in her own right. Even after the show ended, Charlotte Kilcher has remained true to her role as a caretaker of the land, a steward of tradition, and a source of inspiration for those who admire her enduring resilience. Charlotte Kilcher remains a cornerstone of the family, balancing her many roles as a botanical caretaker, homestead expert, mother, and dedicated family woman. She continues to embrace her simple lifestyle while sharing it with the world, reflecting the values of Kilcher country, celebrating nature, farming, and family traditions. Beyond her day-to-day duties, Charlotte has kept the peony operation alive, a symbol of her creativity and dedication to the homestead. From cultivating gardens and tending beehives to raising peonies for heartfelt causes, she continues to show fans why they fell in love with her in the first place. Her tireless daily routine speaks for itself. Charlotte Kilcher truly does it all. Bonnie Kilcher-Dree, originally from Saranac Lake, New York, became part of the Kilcher family through her marriage to Atz Kilcher. She quickly proved to be a natural fit thanks to her passion for the Alaskan outdoors and her love of simple living, which made her an ideal cast member. While her on-screen presence wasn't as prominent as some of the other stars, Bonnie's warmth, creativity, and quiet strength added depth to the family's story. Since the show ended in 2022, she has leaned further into her identity as an artist, honing her diverse skills in knitting, sewing, weaving, beading, macrame, drawing, and painting. By 2024, Bonnie's work had gained recognition with her landscape paintings featured at the Homer Public Library's Fireplace Lounge. Her displayed pieces included The Homestead, Invitation from an Alaskan Spruce Forest, and Homestead Sunrise. She also continues her creative practice at the Yurt Gallery on the homestead, a unique space where she paints from both photographs and memory, often working on multiple pieces at once. While she has avoided large-scale galleries, Bonnie prefers a more personal approach, selling her art online, showcasing at local venues like Wild Edge Espresso, and connecting directly with buyers through social media. Today, Bonnie and Atz split their time between Alaska and Arizona, enjoying the contrast of two landscapes while maintaining their shared love of skiing, music, and the quiet isolation of Kachemak Bay. At one point, Bonnie also explored singing, even performing alongside Atz and contributing to their album Good Old-Fashioned Waves, available on Spotify. Though she has since stepped back from music, her focus remains on nurturing her artistry and embracing new adventures. When Alaska, The Last Frontier aired its final season in November 2022, fans were left with unanswered questions. There was no grand farewell, no official cancellation notice from the Discovery Channel, just silence. For viewers who had followed the Kilcher story for more than a decade, the sudden end left a Kilcher-shaped hole in their hearts. Yet, through social media updates and continued projects, it is clear that while the show may have ended, the Kilcher story lives on. Who's your favorite Last Frontier star, and why? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Before you go, check out the video on your screen. We'll see you next time.